everyone, Dad. It's about time that I do a little bit of cleaning up here. G'day everybody, my name is Noah, otherwise known as the Johnny Man, and you're watching TJM Farming here on YouTube. Now, you join us in the shack here, and right beside me, I've got the old Gator and the red Ford. Now, the reason why these two are in here is one, well, the Gator's not exactly in running condition, and while the red Ford can run, it's not running condition, if you get what I mean. Oh, there goes Dad. For the start of this video, before we get into the action, please do drop a like and hit that red subscribe button down below. At the time of recording this, we've just hit 455 subscribers, so if we could keep this gravy train of subscribers moving, that would be very much appreciated. Now, beside me, this one's the red Ford. He's basically the favourite of the vehicles on the farm here, apart from the Terios. This ute is my first car, basically. It's the ute that originally belonged to a headmaster down at Narrogin Ag School in the 1990s. This is a 1994 build Ford Courier dual cab. It's two-wheel drive, it's got a well body. It was top of the line for its day, and it used to have a big iron cage. I'm not sure if I got a photo, but editor Johnny Man, if you could pull out a photo of the archives of what it looked like before the creek incident, that would be good. And for its day, this ute was the top of the range option for the two-wheel drive variant. And it came home, so to speak, to our old farm up in Canna in 1999 on Dad and Pop's only holiday ever. And my nana drove this. It was used as the runaround ute, getting parts and whatnot. And then when it got superseded by the Hiluxes in the early 2000s, it became the rubbish bin ute, and also the ute that we'd take dinners out the paddock and stuff. And around 2015, 2016 or so, I was only young at the time. I was only about 9, and I stood up to about this height, a quarter of my size, and Dad said, jump in the driver's seat. And this was the ute. Like, 9-year-old me was all about this. And well, it shows. If you look at my early videos, I always used to pick out a pickup in red, and I'd call it the red Ford. And the reason why 9-year-old me got to drive this in the first place was for the bus bomb duty, which was, for those outside of the Australian slang terms, bus bomb is basically a ute or car like the Terios over there, or even the Gator. The Gator's done it sometimes as well, where they're basically in charge on getting the kids from the house to the bus stop, and the bus stop at that time was down our driveway. And we'd leave the car, ute or Gator there until the afternoon, where when we got dropped back off, we'd drive it back to the house. We interrupt this a farm called Nellmurra prologue type talk for some John Deere action. as of the time of recording this, a beekeeper's truck has gotten stuck on Peter's place. Peter, our neighbour, who also runs sheep across from ours, and they've requested the services of the 7810 tractor to rescue it. The reason why we're using the 7810 is, well, if you remember the first video that I did of 2024, we tried to use Little Red, but Little Red failed. Yeah. So we're just going to use the green one and hope that it works. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's only because he's in full lock. It should be going the other way.
Don't you get the Johnny Fog, Dad?
The steering's all wrong.
Looks as if it's, it can't steer.
Lock to the left. It should be going the other way. Working like an anchor.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Moving by an inch.
He's got his steering wrong still. It's still bloody sideways. Causing drag.
I got a feeling this is a two-tractor job. If we get our tractor bogged,
I won't get bogged, that's it. Crawl its way out. still not turning his wheels.
It is, just very slowly. I got a suspicion that it's going to be dragging sand along.
I'm surprised you got this far actually. That's what Murray's struggling. Skull dragging that whole bloody truck.
And the truck's not helping.
Now he's moving a bit. We're going to go through the bolt hole that Murray just done.
And then it'll get stuck again. Fingers crossed not.
Truck's in a too long, lower gear, I think. It needs to go a bit faster. You still see it from here, it's dragging.
To be quite honest, I've had enough of getting stuff bogged for 1 year. Right, so the truck's pulled out. The blokes are just discussing down there. We'll be taking the tractor and the gator back, and then, oh well, we'll see. Probably pup time. We now return to our regular scheduled programming. Now, of course, I'm interrupted by the tractor. Before we were interrupted by this tractor action of rescuing the B truck, standing beside me, we've got the Red Ford to my left and the Gator or Gator Mach 1 to my right. These two are very significant to the channel for a number of reasons. First of all, the Red Ford and the Gator are the first two vehicles to ever star in a real life video with this very GoPro that I'm holding here. The second, the Red Ford's significant because, well, from the very beginning I've always had a pickup or some form of ute type vehicle, and I've called it the Red Ford. This ute is what I was referring to. And now the Red Ford has starred in a couple of videos. Not very often as I'd like, but it used to appear quite a lot in the Nelly Creek series, and once we moved to Erinvale, from Erinvale season 1, the Red Ford stopped appearing. And for those of you who are wondering what happened, well, during that time the Red Ford was still up at Canna and Dad was using it to pump water to the shearing shed while he was doing contract work for real counterpart to a certain sumo wrestler shaped person. And I requested that the Red Ford come down here as a birthday present. And it's been down here since July 14th, 2022. And ever since, what has it been doing? Well, for the most part, it's been sitting in the shed, taking the Terios's spot. She is not very happy about that, but mind you, this shed has basically become the storage area for my restoration projects, which is exactly that. It's the Red Ford and the Gator. Now, the Gator has starred in a number of videos. It appeared in the complete Nelly Creek real life series. It's appeared at least once in every single video except for the Kelly chaining segment, and it's appeared in Erinvale season 1, if you could call it season 1. And at the start of last year, it was decided that it's time to retire the Gator after 8 long years of service. And ever since then, we ceremoniously parked it up in the shack garage here, and here it's sat ever since. We've never started it up. Well, we tried to start it up several times, but ever since its retirement, the Gator's like, nah, stuff that, I'm staying put. As for the red Ford, I tried taking it on several other little mini adventures, if you could call them that, where I tried to see how far it could get. It got bogged. And it only got bogged due to the chassis being low to the ground. See, if the red Ford was like its four-wheel drive counterparts, which there's a couple of old ads of four-wheel drive Ford Couriers exactly like this one, except they got better suspension. There's old videos of them going and rescuing two-wheel drives out in the Great Sandy Desert up there, and well, the red Ford's not capable, unfortunately, in its current position to get through sand country. So why am I with these two today, and why am I explaining all this? I have an announcement to make, which I'll go get right now. All right, I've yabbered on and on about this. It's time for you to finally see it. Yep, that red ute on the cover of this book is that these two are one and the same. And well, I thought now's a better time than ever to announce it. I've kept it secret for, oh, God knows how long, ever since I started high school. And that's the reason why videos on the channel between 2019 and 2021 were so staggered, is because I was working on this. This is the book that takes place on a fictitious version of, as you would know it, Nelly Creek. But to those of us who have lived and worked there, it was my childhood home, my dad's childhood home, and my grandfather's passion project, Mugga Wagga, or a farm called Nellmurra, as the book proclaims it. This book is set in the year 2019, the year that I went off to boarding school. And I can say that now freely because I've graduated high school now. And this was the passion project that I worked on through my entirety of high school. Only 20 copies of this have been printed. And a lot of those have ended up in the boarding house and in the school library, because it was the library staff that helped me out, and my fellow author and mentor, Mr. Luke Milton, who is publishing some of his own works very soon. I'll probably leave a link to his Amazon in the description. I have a lot to say about this book, so we'll probably drop the tailgate and I'll read you a couple of bits of it. I'll just, for starters, I've been itching to, I've been telling you about this for the past 5 videos or something, and now I thought it's better to show it off, get the sun out of the way. But at this stage, 20 copies have been made. This was thanks to school. And this book is the culmination of my childhood imagination, inspired by, well, three key TV shows that I watched as a little kid. One was Little Red Tractor. That introduced me to, well, the concept of a Little Red Tractor and a Big Blue. That's where those two names came from. The second, Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder was a little bit childish at times, but it introduced me to the idea of like sentient machines that could talk, and in that instance it was like a construction business. And the third, I've had several references to it, the Reverend Wilbert Awdry's The Railway Series. I'm not saying anything specific. A farm called Nellmurra is not in any affiliation to the railway series in its entirety at all. But growing up as a kid, I loved to tell stories, and that was thanks in part to the wooden railway set which I was lucky enough to have as a kid. And I'd run around, tell fictional stories, and it went from there. The real beginning of this book is, well, it goes back to about year 6. I was at the end of my primary school days, and we had this school bully who I'll call Turnip. Turnip was a heavy, die-hard Case fan. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I expressed my love of John Deere tractors, and you know what he said? He said, "Oh, John Deeres are big green pieces of snot." Right, well, so I turned my attention to drawing as a way of a coping mechanism, as many kids with ADHD of my sort of era did. So I drew a tractor, and the tractor I drew is the tractor that ended up on the YouTube channel, Big Green, as you would know him. And from there, it sort of spiraled out of control. Like, okay, I've drawn this character. What's his story? Where's he working? Where's his colleagues? And it spiraled out of control, and suddenly I had this really solid concept that just needed a bit of tinkering. At the start of year 8, I was homesick. At the time, I was in a splint because I had tripped over feeding the chooks. My plan originally for that day was to quickly feed the chooks, then go with this ute right here out to, you know, I was 13 at the time. I was just going around, driving around, because that's what I love to do. And that flipped my worldview upside down because, well, I broke my elbow. I was in the splint at the time. And when I went to boarding school, I became severely homesick. At that time, my passion back then was trains, farming simulator, and agriculture. I didn't have my trains. I didn't have my farming simulator apart from my phone. So what was left? Agriculture. I began to draw. And the very early drawings of a little series, I guess you could call it, were of this running title that I titled Mugga Wugga Farm. Obviously, Mugga Wugga Farm is turned into a farm called Nellmurra, which is what this is. The Red Ford was not the original character. Big Green was, as I stated. And then it was Big Blue, and then it was the Little Johnny, then it was Little Red, and then, well, we got all these tractors. What about the other machines? I created the Gator, then the Red Ford. And then after that, it was a case of drawing up a proper plot. And that came about in the form of Dad texting me every night, saying things like, "Oh, the Gator got stuck today," or "the Gator broke down today," or "Big Blue broke the air seeder again." And stuff like that. And I went and turned it into ideas for a book. Obviously, the finished product has the whole thing, which I'll explain. I'll read to you now the blurb. Ford is Nellmurra's hard-working ute, prone to telling tall tales, sneaking the odd beer, and lovingly teasing his young owner, Noah. Life on Nellmurra would be wonderful were it not for a long, brutal feud with the neighbouring Wantanip station, led by its increasingly antagonistic Uncle Albert. A feud that's been bubbling away for the best part of 47 years and is finally about to explode. When Ford and his shed mates get wind of Uncle Albert's most outrageous scheme yet, it's down to Nellmurra's band of rambunctious farm machines to foil Bert's plans while stopping the farm falling into chaos. Based on his time growing up in the Midwest region, a farm called Nellmurra is Arthur Noah's spin on life on a bustling wheat and sheep operation, told in the wildly exaggerated but funny manner from the perspective of the beloved vehicles that work there. Basically, where a farm called Nellmurra is at currently, 20 copies have been made. A lot of those have ended up in the hands of friends and family, those who've helped me along the way. The rest, they've ended up in the school library, 2 in the boarding house, and another 2 that I gifted to some very bright-minded year 7s who, if they're watching this, hi, who I helped in their first year at school, in my final year. And I gifted them my book so that they could have something to remember me by and inspire them to be creative and, well. But at the time of recording this, I am now 3 months out of school. And it seemed that almost everything on this has gone quiet. The reason for that is because, well, I've been trying to prepare the book for the longest time for proper public publishing. Mr. Milton, who helped edit this and very kindly went through the 6,000 spelling mistakes and still didn't get all of them. He did it to the best of his ability, so if you're watching this, Luke, thank you. I've tinkered with it, I've fixed it all up, and I've tried sending it off to publishers. But the trouble is, this book is not your granddad's Thomas the Tank Engine. This book is wildly exaggerated and funny, but it's aimed more towards the target audience. Really, I aim this towards more teenagers, as that was the lens I was looking through this. But really, in all honesty, anyone who's had anything to do with agriculture, who's had to deal with family dramas, anyone who's worked and toiled away with sheep, with cantankerous machinery that work when they want to, and other times just want to sit in the shed to keep their paint nice. And really, this book is my way of capturing that Australiana. It's wildly exaggerated but funny. It's an adventure story. And at the heart of it all, it's a feel-good story. In the words of a local around these parts, it's funny. It's a good read. It's a really good story. It's dramatic at times, yes, but it's a feel-good story. It's an adventure story. It's got all these great characters. And in a world where it's so negative, you don't know what's coming around the next corner. Whether one day you could have this farm with all these machines and have a lucrative sheep operation, and the next you need to sell your tractor. In a world like that, you need something to laugh, to have fun with. And that's what this book is trying to achieve. So what's the go right now? I've tried sending it to several publishers. I'm still in the process of doing that. So stay tuned. But if I cannot get a publisher in Australia to take this project on and truly run with it and take it out to the world, then I'll do it myself. At the time of recording this, I'm currently scratching the funds together to set up a website, which, when it's ready, I'll announce it in a proper video, and we'll get more of these printed, and we'll go from there. So where do we go from here? when I scrape together the funds, we'll set up a website and we'll get the book published. You'll be able to buy it online. I'll be able to sign some for an extra fee. It won't be too much. And all funds from the sales of this book will go towards sequels if this becomes a hit, and towards the restoration of the Red Ford and the Gator. And from there, once the Red Ford's ready to go, once the Gator's ready to go, I'll take them on the road. Not under their own power, of course. They'll be going on a trailer, but I'll be taking them on the road around WA, and you'll be able to come meet me at shows and stuff and say hi. I'm all for it, because this is going to be one hell of an adventure, and I'm glad that I've got people behind me willing to join me for it. So if you want to support the book directly, what you could do for now is, depending where you see this video, if you're on my main channel, TJM Farming, hello. If you're on the official A Farm Called Nellmurra page, which I have set up, I haven't uploaded anything there yet. I'm trying to scratch some videos together for that. Go subscribe there, because from here on out, TJM Farming is going to be having a little bit of a change. I'm thinking something along the lines of having it purely Erinvale based. So no more Farming Simulator content. That will be going to TJM Extra when I've got the time. And all the A Farm Called Nellmurra stuff will go to its official page. And all the restoration for the Red Ford updates will be going both on TJM Farming and the A Farm Called Nellmurra page. So yeah, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And if you want to support future projects like the publishing of this, spread the word. I mean, I'm open to all options at this point. Even if it means I have to change it a little bit, I want to get my story told. And it's incredibly important for me now more than ever to truly get a story like this out there. Because in a world where it's so negative, you need to have a feel-good story. And, well, that, and it gives voices to a region of Western Australia that you barely hear anything out of, and that's the Midwest. Like, the Midwest region, you barely hear anything in regards to novels and stuff like this. And I want to change that. I want to shed light on what goes on out there. And along the way, I wish to help educate people better in the world of agriculture, in the world of farm machinery, and how it all works, and how we get stuff from paddock to plate. That's the end goal here. So, without further ado, I'll see you next time. Bye.